very positive. I mean, it's I think 2 or 3 weeks of trading so far, and it's definitely met our expectations and those of Tesco, and it's very much an initial range that's gone in there, and we're looking to build on that through next year and expand the scope of what we offer the Manx public through Tesco in terms of product range. But yeah, really happy so far, and Tesco, as I understand it, are too.
And what about feedback from the farmers themselves? Are they happy with the amount that's being sold and the profit as well?
Well, farmers are always challenging and always wanting more, and quite rightly so. They're pushing us to grow the market and deliver better opportunities, because farming on the Isle of Man has gone through some tough times in recent years. So we got a great positive reaction from the farming community. It's very symbolic getting back into Tesco's. I mean, clearly we have good relationships with other supermarkets and the butchers and wholesalers on the island, but Tesco was always seen as a very symbolic thing to go and achieve, and it was one of the key strategic aims we set out for ourselves at the start of the year. And I think the farming community's reaction is that they recognise that this is effectively a major step forward.
You mentioned butchers there. Has there been any knock-on effect there? Have you heard from any butchers concerned that Tesco is taking business away from them?
Not personally, no, and I'm not aware of feedback. I mean, obviously the executive management team are in there running the business on a day-to-day basis, and they're talking all the time with customers and producers. But I mean, my personal view is that people's shopping habits are determined by what suits them, and some people will always shop at a butcher's, others prefer a supermarket. And from an Isle of Man Meats point of view, our challenge is to make sure that we're maximising the opportunity for people to buy Manx meat, and I think we're doing that.
You mentioned the potential of expanding the range. Is there a timeline?
So we've got some plans. We've got a board meeting this Thursday to review where we're at in terms of next stage developments, and there is some investment required to give us the processing capability that we need to expand the product range to things like mince and dice products, so there's quite a lot of work being done to date, but it's about just finalising that plan and then working out the return on it, and like any business case, it going through the proper scrutiny, and I'm confident that the proposition will stack up, because we know that whereas joints are very much weekend meals and day to day, there's much more volume of mince and dice products that people buy. So the market opportunity is there. We're confident that we can deliver it. We do need some investment to do it, and believe there'll be a strong payback, and that will very, very significantly increase the volume that's going through the on-island sales, because not only will that be available potentially to Tesco, but it'll also be available to other retailers as well.
You have a partnership as well with Northgate Foods. That one's been in place since March, a little bit longer than the Tesco one. How has that been going? That's
been going well. They have picked up representing Isle of Man Meats in the UK. Prior to their appointment, we had an agent who was operating for us, but this has step changed our presence in the UK, and we've made some good progress, getting some really good feedback actually on the quality of the Manx product, particularly on the lamb side, and we've significantly grown the volumes of lambs through Isle of Man Meats this year, and we've got 2/3 of the product that is being sold via the Northgate route, and we've got a partner there who are very competent. They know all the key customers. They're out and about, getting into the depots and extolling the virtues of the provenance and the quality and all the other attributes. So we're very pleased. We still need to do some work in terms of improving the prices that we get for the product, because historically we were not strong sellers in the UK market. That's changing, but it takes time for people to be converted. But yeah, very, very, very pleased. It is a difficult market in the UK, particularly on the beef side. There's a lot of cheap Irish beef that's been supplied into the UK market as a direct result, really, of the government of Ireland's actions linked to Brexit and the support they've given their farmers and processors. So pricing is quite poor, and that's a challenge. But yeah, I'm very happy with the progress we're making.
You say there's been an increase in meat being sold off Ireland. How much of an increase?
What I said was increase in processing through the plant, and about 2/3 of our lamb and beef is sold off Ireland from Isle of Man meats. So we've processed about 3,000 more lambs so far this year than we had at this time last year, and beef is pretty much level against last year. So that'll be a mix of more on island sales and off island sales as well.
When meat goes off island and is sold off island, how much of that money actually then comes back to the island?
Well, we sell to the customers. So Northgate effectively acts as agents for Isle of Man meats, and we get all the revenue from selling the animal to the butcher or wholesaler who's buying it in the UK. That then comes back into Isle of Man meats. That's where our revenue comes from. So yeah, and the more we can sell, it's like any business. The more we can sell the at the right price, the better we can, better our financial performance will be. But the local market is our preferred market, and we're going to grow both sides of the market. But certainly the Tesco relationship is key to growing the Isle of Man, and Northgate is key to growing in the UK.
You also have the deal with, or the partnership with, trade distribution as well. How is that working?
That's going very well. We've effectively got an outsourced partnership relationship with them, so they're managing all our logistics, effectively servicing the requirements that Northgate are generating through their sales activity. As part of that, they have provided an additional trailer. So we now have 3 trailers going across each week rather than 2. So potentially that's another 50% volume going across compared to the level we could handle previously. We've got all their expertise in terms of route planning and scheduling, and it's a more cost-effective service than we were achieving previously. So it's a real win-win. And the added benefit, of course, is the branded trailers that we now have. So whether they're driving from the plant to the boat, or on the boat overnight, or driving around the motorways of the UK, Isle of Man meats is getting good exposure from that as well.
How much of a difference does that make, having the branding on display in the UK?
Well, it's awareness raising, and I think it's good for Isle of Man meats. It's good for the Isle of Man generally, and it's all part of just raising the profile of the brand. But of course, when it's pulling into the depots and the customers, it's a very visible presence. It looks good. It's professional, and I think it gives added credibility, because what we're selling is a more premium product that's got some brand characteristics which have value. So it's all part of supporting that brand proposition.
You mentioned that numbers being processed on Ireland are up, and that to keep up with growth there will need to be investment at the meat plant.
Yeah.
How much of a capacity does it need? How is it coping with this demand?
Oh, it's coping absolutely fine. And just to be clear, the investment we need is in terms of the particular machinery and packaging equipment for the wider range of products that we want to be able to offer to the customer. We've got plenty of flexibility to increase the throughput through the plant. That's not a constraint at all. The challenge, the constraint, has been our ability to sell the product historically, and you have to align every part of your business. So as we're growing our sales opportunities, we need to keep pushing the production capacity, and in recent months we've increased the number of days on which we process animals through the plant, and there's plenty of scope to go further with that.
What is the overall impact of buying local meat for the Manx economy?
It's very, very significant. The great thing about spending on locally produced food and meat in particular is not only are you getting a great product, but that money is going directly back into the local community. And there's something called the local multiplier effect, which is basically showing how the money that's spent is expanded by being circulated around the local economy. And the best thing you can do as a consumer is buy local produce generally, but particularly meat, and that you're getting a great product, and it's supporting hardworking local farmers.
It obviously is coming up to the time of year when a lot of people are buying the big joint of meat. Mm-hmm. Is there a particular festive campaign?
We're always promoting the brand, but I think it's a time of year where people are probably more likely to be buying turkeys and products like that. But beef and lamb is a great product any time of the year, and I'd encourage everybody to go out and support your local industry and buy good quality Manx beef, pork, and lamb.
And what's in the pipeline for 2020? Are we going to see more of these types of partnerships off island, or more growth locally?
Probably both. We're certainly driving on all fronts. I think the relationship with Northgate, we can have other partners if we want, as in addition to them, but they're opening the market up very, very, very nicely for us. In terms of local, it's going to be about broadening the product range and trying to get as much product in front of local consumers as we possibly can. So I think we've made some big strategic moves in 2019. I think it's going to be a year of building on that in 2020 and really seeing where we can take the business to. But I'm looking for growth. I'm looking for improved financial performance, and looking to continue to return good prices back to our local farmers.